Welcome to the Forgotten History channel, where we uncover stories that shaped the world in ways you never imagined. Today we're diving into a tale that combines the glamour of rock and roll with the grim reality of a devastating disease. Imagine a time when polio cast a shadow over every family in America, leaving children paralyzed and parents terrified. Now picture this: a young Elvis Presley, already a superstar, stepping into the fight against this deadly epidemic. Elvis wasn't just the king of rock and roll. He became a hero in the battle for public health. His decision to get vaccinated live on television wasn't just a publicity stunt, it was a turning point that helped save millions of lives. But how did this moment come to be? What led Elvis to take this bold step? And what was the lasting impact of his actions? Stay tuned as we reveal the incredible story of how Elvis Presley helped eradicate polio. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss another hidden chapter of history. In the early 1950s, polio was not just a disease, it was a national terror. It struck indiscriminately, leaving children and adults alike paralyzed or worse. Hospitals across America were filled with the eerie hum of iron lungs, machines that kept patients alive as they struggled to breathe. Parents lived in constant fear as summer approached, the season when polio outbreaks reached their peak. Parks emptied, public pools closed, and whispers of the disease spread like wildfire. Despite the groundbreaking development of the Salk vaccine in 1955, its rollout faced an unexpected hurdle: distrust. Many Americans, especially teenagers, were skeptical or fearful of vaccination. Public health campaigns struggled to gain traction as the disease continued to devastate communities. How could they turn the tide? The answer came from an unlikely hero, a cultural icon whose influence could unite a generation: Elvis Presley. While the fear of polio gripped the nation, a new cultural force was emerging, a force strong enough to unite a divided America. Elvis Presley, a young man from humble beginnings in Tupelo, Mississippi, was redefining music and youth culture. With his unique blend of rhythm and blues, country and gospel, Elvis captured the spirit of a generation eager for change. By 1956, Elvis had skyrocketed to fame. His first national hit, Heartbreak Hotel, electrified audiences, and his performances on The Ed Sullivan Show made television history. His swiveling hips and rebellious charm were both shocking and mesmerizing, drawing criticism from older generations and adoration from teenagers. Elvis didn't just perform music, he embodied the hopes and dreams of a post-war youth yearning for freedom and self-expression. What set Elvis apart was his ability to cross boundaries. In an era when segregation was the norm, his music brought together fans from all races, challenging societal norms and paving the way for cultural integration. Crowds at his concerts became a melting pot of diversity, unified by the sheer power of his charisma and talent. Public health officials took notice. Here was a man with unparalleled influence over the very demographic they struggled to reach: teenagers. If Elvis could convince his fans to embrace the polio vaccine, it might just change the course of the epidemic. The king of rock and roll was about to become an unlikely hero in the fight against a deadly disease. October 28, 1956, a date that would change the course of public health history. As the nation tuned in to watch The Ed Sullivan Show, Elvis Presley, already a cultural icon, made a bold and unexpected move. Just before his performance, cameras rolled as Elvis rolled up his sleeve to receive the polio vaccine. Public health officials had carefully orchestrated this moment, knowing that his influence could shift the tide of skepticism that had stalled the vaccination campaign. The scene was electric. Elvis's playful smile and calm demeanor sent a powerful message to his young fans. Vaccines weren't something to fear, they were a way to protect yourself and those you loved. News outlets across the country carried the footage, turning Elvis's vaccination into a national event. Within months, vaccination rates among teenagers, previously one of the hardest groups to convince, skyrocketed. Elvis's televised vaccination wasn't just a publicity stunt, it was a masterstroke in public health advocacy. By leveraging his charisma and popularity, Elvis bridged the gap between science and culture, making vaccines not just acceptable but cool. This pivotal moment demonstrated the power of celebrity to shape public opinion and save lives. Elvis Presley's televised vaccination was more than a fleeting moment of entertainment, it was a cultural shift that redefined public attitudes toward health and science. Before his act of advocacy, vaccination campaigns struggled to connect with America's youth, who viewed the process with suspicion and indifference. But Elvis changed all that. Overnight, vaccines became cool. The sight of the king of rock and roll rolling up his sleeve sent a message that resonated far beyond the confines of television screens. Suddenly, vaccination clinics saw a surge of teenagers eager to follow Elvis's lead. Public health officials capitalized on this momentum, using Elvis's image in posters, ads, and outreach programs designed to appeal to the young and skeptical. But the impact went even deeper. Elvis's involvement showed the power of pop culture to shape societal norms. His actions helped normalize vaccinations, making them an essential part of American life. The ripple effect of his endorsement reached beyond polio, paving the way for future health campaigns to leverage celebrity influence. Elvis didn't just make vaccines acceptable, he made them aspirational. Elvis Presley's decision to publicly support the polio vaccine had ripple effects that extended far beyond his own time. By lending his star power to a public health campaign, he not only boosted vaccination rates but also set a precedent for how celebrities could influence society for the better. This moment in 1956 marked the beginning of a new era in public health advocacy, one where entertainment and science could work hand in hand to tackle global challenges. The results were remarkable. Within a few years, polio cases in the United States plummeted. The disease that once struck fear into every family was on its way to being eradicated, thanks in no small part to a bold collaboration between public health officials and the most famous person in the world. Elvis's televised vaccination became a case study for leveraging cultural influence, inspiring future campaigns on everything from seatbelt safety to AIDS awareness. Today, the legacy of Elvis's involvement is still felt. Public health initiatives continue to draw on the power of celebrity to bridge the gap between science and skepticism. His role in the fight against polio reminds us of the importance of using influence responsibly. Elvis Presley wasn't just the king of rock and roll, he was a pioneer in showing how cultural icons could change the world. As the story of Elvis Presley and the polio vaccine comes to an end, we are reminded of the profound impact one person can have on the world. In a time of fear and uncertainty, Elvis used his voice, his platform, and his influence to inspire trust and hope. His televised vaccination was more than a moment of entertainment, it was a turning point in the fight against a deadly disease. Elvis showed us that change doesn't always come from scientists or politicians. Sometimes it comes from a cultural icon who dares to take a stand. His actions demonstrated the incredible potential of uniting science and culture, paving the way for public health campaigns that continue to save lives today. From polio to COVID-19, the lesson remains the same. The power of influence can reshape history. Thank you for joining us on the Forgotten History channel as we explored how a rock and roll legend became a hero of public health. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to uncover more stories that shaped our world. Until next time, keep discovering the hidden chapters of history.